Yes. Om Shatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamashu Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityur Ma Amritangamaya Avir Avir Maedhi Rudro Jate Dakshinam Mukham Te Namang Pahi Nityam Te Namang Pahi Nityam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light and illumination. Lead us from death to immortality and evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are on the chapter of the Shanti Gita, chapter 7, and we have read up to verse number 12. It's a very complicated area of understanding. It's talking about how perceive. We see the objects. The object is this. There is an object outside. According to Western science, the rays of light falling and then comes to my eyeball and creates a reverse image. And from that reverse image that is carried by the nervous system to the brain, and brain neurons work some way. And then behind is that mind and intellect, so they perceive, and we have our perception of inner something message is carried inside, but what is that? You cannot recognize until the light of the consciousness falls on it. I'm mixing to Vedanta and science. But Vedanta talks something little different, that it is not that outside you are seeing anything. They say that from your mind, a, a wave comes and just falls on some object and takes the size of the say shape and size of the object and then goes inside. So that is the difference. This Western science will say external light falling upon that, bringing that reverse image. But Patanjali and other philosophy will say your vritti, the mental modification, the mind, it falls on an object and catches the shape and size and brings it back in the same process and goes on internally. But the mind is being dull and unintelligent. That intellect also dull and intelligent. They cannot function by themselves. So ego also cannot function. It's a material object. So behind that real ego, the conscious ego of consciousness is there. That light flashes on that object. Then, suppose here is so many objects, if all the lights are on, off, then we don't see anything in pitch dark. Things are there, but we don't see. When it is visible, when this light falls upon it. So what is the light in us? That is the light of consciousness. That light of bliss and consciousness called Brahman Atman. That light is eternal. And that's called witness consciousness in another term. Somewhere we call the eternal subject. Whatever terminology, that is the internal reality, and that should fall on to illumine. It is the illuminating factor. It is, everything is jada, that is the conscious entity. Deho, from body to mind, intellect, ego, etc. These are all jada because it is made of 5 elements. But behind that, all this, when the sense is now acting, because that consciousness is inside, that consciousness reflected on ego, that ego's light falls on buddhi, intellect, buddhi's light falls on the mind, mind's light falls on the sense perceptions, which is under modern science will say in the brain which is happening. Actually, what is there, no one knows. We are perceiving our universe according to modern science also. You do not know what is outside. What your brain is telling you, an image, you are thinking the world about that. So So the perception, how the perception happens, that is the point of discussion, and it was going on. So in a nutshell, I have expressed that idea. Now, so this is called the britti. And when this knowledge comes, it is britti vishaya chaitanya. That the britti vishaya and chaitanya, this consciousness, and then a britti creates an object which is matter. That matter gets lighted. And then when it gets lighted, then you say, I know. You know, when something is there outside, unless the light of the consciousness falls upon that, you cannot say, I know. Knowledge is impossible. Huh? So, for every perception in our life, every, not to the eyes, to the ear, to the touch, to the smell, to the tongue, every perception, the process is the same. It is going to all this machine and this all this robotic correction, but it is connected with some hi-fi. Wi-Fi, no, not Wi-Fi. It will be energy, that eternal energy behind. No, if some it is not there, the robot will not function. Robot may be standing like that with all features ready. The body may be there, but it will not perceive anything unless that light of consciousness is behind. And it is said that for every sight we see, every sound we hear, every taste we have in our tongue, every touch we get, heat, cold, soft, hard, all these perceptions are possible because of that light falling upon. And then we say, I know. I do not know anything unless the light falls upon that. That's why in the sleeping, when you sleep, deep sleep, external objects still there. You are sleeping, that does not mean that the chair is not there in your room, the ceiling light is there, the fan is there, air conditioning machine is there, but you don't have any conception when you are in deep sleep. But you are there. But the external senses are shut down. So in this channel of this connection, anywhere any break, then you don't perceive the object. Suppose my eyesight is defective. So thing will be there, I will not see. Some say I don't see the distant thing. I cannot read the, it is so close, but I cannot read. So if you need defect in the eye, defect in the nervous system, the carrier, defect in the brain, then go to the mind. Mind is absent. I'm looking like you, but I'm thinking something else. But you are not seeing me because mind is not connected. Mind is connected, but your understanding is also, your thought is, deep thinking is somewhere else. Your ego is not connected. I am seeing, I is not connected. Then you will. So any layer of disconnection, your knowledge will not put. But even suppose all are there, if the consciousness not there, you cannot understand. You will not be able to experience anything. That's why in the deep sleeps, look at that. Deep sleep, neither this visible universe is there. It is because it is covered with withdrawn from the gross to the subtle. And this dream world, that's also gone. When there you go back to the deep sleep state, then what remains there? Only one thing remains. Ignorance remains. It is blocking. Ignorance is blocking. That's why when we, but the light is inside. Light is falling on that ignorance. That's why we coming out. I slept well. I do not know. Do not know is the black covering. But I know that I do not know. Do not know, I know. That is the consciousness aspect. That is the continuous subject of our witness consciousness. So this is very important point to understand, that all these physical things, even if it is present, but without that consciousness, we do not know. But consciousness in deep sleep is also there. That's why our utterance proves that I do not know. By this statement, we are proving that knowing is there of what? Here, subject is not know. The object is there, but what object I do not know. That is ignorance. Ignorance is the subject here. Now, when a Brahmajnana comes, what happens? This ignorance, the layer, that is not there. All the connections that coming to the pure mind, pure intellect, and coming there, and you tune with the cosmic consciousness. That means then you see the transformation. That is called the revelation. But that is blocked for us because of our tamas, rajas, and etc. So that was the subject we read. Then that's a 12th verse, last verse we said that Srinosi, Bhikshasi, Bhikshasi, Srinosi, Bhikshasi, Jajjat, Tatra Sambit Anuttama, Anushuta Taya Bhati, Tattat Sarva Prakashika. So what happens? Srinosi, whatever we are hearing, Bhikshasi, whatever I am seeing, observing, Srinosi, Bhikshasi, Jat, Jat, Tatra. Whatever object, whatever sound I am hearing, whatever object I am seeing, Jat, Jat, Tatra, there, Sambit, the awareness. I am aware of the chair, I am aware of the watch, I am aware of the clock. That awareness is there everywhere. And Sambita Nuttama. And it is Anushutataya Bhati. That permeates everywhere. This consciousness permeates everywhere. And that's why it is revealed. Because that tat sarva prakashika, that consciousness is revealer of anything and everything observable and visible or experienced. So in whatever you hear and see, there is this unsurpassed consciousness with uninterrupted continuity. The table is not, the pews are not continuing, but there is a gap. But knowledge has no separation. Knowledge, see, I am looking in this room, this side to that side. My one perception will be a window, next is the wall, next that the consciousness is permeated everywhere. The space is here, empty space. But I am aware of the empty space. I am aware of the glass. I am aware of the door. I am aware of the wall. Whatever. That means it is consciousness is permeated everywhere. And that experience comes. That is the consciousness is revealing all this. That's why 13th verse today's reading. Samvidam tang vicharena, Samvidam tang vicharena, Chaitanyam avadharayo, Chaitanyam avadharayo, Tatra pashyami jat vastu, Tatra pashyami pashyasi, Tatra pashyasi jat vastu, Tatra pashyasi jad vastu janami iti vibhasate janami iti vibhasate tathi sangbit prabhavena tathi sangbit prabhavena vigyayam sarupam tataha vigyayam sarupam tataha. Beautiful. So Sangbidam, that consciousness is awareness. That's Sangbid. Tam Vicharena Chaitanyam Avadhara. You have to analyze. In a gross way, I'm seeing, I'm experiencing. But how the experience is happening, we never question that. Did you ever question that I am seeing this picture? Why am I seeing the picture? How it is happening? We never question that. But it is said, you have to understand it is Chaitanyam because of the consciousness. You are perceiving every object that you cannot get it unless you have very strong discriminative faculty, analytical faculty. Our eyes get stuck into the external only and don't understand the consciousness permeating there and consciousness permeating here. And behind every perception, that consciousness is just flashing out, as it were. Tatra pashyasi jad vastu. There you see whatever object. Or janami, you say, I know. I know I saw you. Oh, I saw you at 7 o'clock. How do you know? Because I saw. I saw you means I have the experience. The janami, I know it. because that of the consciousness. Janami, the part janami, knowing or perceiving is my because of the consciousness. Tathi sambit prabhavana. That is happening because sambit. Sambit means consciousness, chetan. Because of the impact of that sambit and Bigyam Swarupa. And the same process you apply to know your own Swarupa. Go analyze here, you'll find here is consciousness. So the consciousness there, consciousness here is to be perceived by deep analysis. The Vedanta book is always teaches us how to analyze, how to look at the object and see the truth behind that. And the apparent thing is covering our vision and understanding. This apparent name and form, apparent all these um, limiting objects, they are just blocking our vision of the truth. So therefore, you have to bicharo. So sangbidang tang bichare, you know. So you have to know, realize that sangbid. Sambidam, this awareness or perception, that sambidam, bichar, by analysis, chaitanyam avadhara. You understand that it is only consciousness. All your perception is nothing but you are feeling your consciousness through name and form. Avadhara means you understand that. Tatra, there, pasasi you see, yat, whatever you see, vastu, any object, wherever you see any object, janami iti vibhasate. It illumines before you, I know. There are so many objects. When you see them and the consciousness actually reflects there, then you say, I know. That is verily sambit prabhavana. It is happening because of the consciousness itself. The house may be full of objects, but if there is no light, you will see nothing. But whatever you are seeing, whatever you are feeling, that is because of the consciousness behind. To assert, this is called Vedanta knowledge. The Brahma Gyan will come automatically. We see that, oh, the sound. Oh, it is because of the consciousness. See, 2 times it happened. It's because of the consciousness. You are to be alert about consciousness. That is the consciousness. I am seeing you. I am smelling something, gas leak. Oh, because of the consciousness. See, this is called seeing God everywhere in one language, but Vedanta student will analyze this way. That is in the Panchadashi also, this emphasizes the same idea that whatever perception you are having, it is happening because of consciousness behind. Seeing, hearing, you are imagining something. That's also possible because of the consciousness. With eyes open, you are feeling anything. It's hot, cold. How do you feel? Because of the consciousness. So everything is because of the background. I remember that experience. What I just explained at the very beginning, that there may be some object. Suppose there is an object. And that object, I take the picture of that object and it goes to the nervous system, to the brain, and the neurons act in one way or the other, but it cannot find out what is this object. It transfers to the mind. Mind the boss. Mind is the 11th sense organ. 10 sense organs are 5: eyes, ear, nose, throat, etc. Hand, feet, etc. 5. 5, 5, 10. But who controls them? Among them, mind is the controller of all the senses. The mind disconnect, your eyes will look like that, you don't see anything. Your ears will be open, but you do not hear anything. I suppose you are unmindfully eating something. I say, hey, what did you eat? Oh, how did it taste? You cannot say any. Can you say? If the mind is just you are unmindfully eating. Even some people may say, what did you eat? We are reading this morning, Swami Vivekananda is given to eat some food. and he was eating something. Then he said, "Did I uh, eat at all?" And he is not aware that he is eating. His body, his mind is so high in some
Vedanta discussion.
discussion, Vedanta discussion, that he is not in the mind. Mind is not there. That means mind factor is to be corrected there. So mind is the 11. So and then mind is a undecisive person. He cannot decide is this or that, this and that. Then it sends to Google engine. Inside Google engine is there, Buddhi. Buddhi immediately calls all your old photographs, images, all collected images. How much he can remember. She calls all those and matches this photo with that photo. They say, "Oh, it is John." How do you know it is John? Yet the whole album is inside, and Google engine searched that and brought that picture and matches with the present picture. It has so fast it works. We don't know how it works so fast. In Google engine also it fast. You click and there is 79,000 results are coming. Right? So if the engine can do, they have followed this principle here, what is happening inside. So then Buddhi decides this is, but still your perception is not finished. It is only matching one photo with the old photo with the matching. But how it will be accepted as this person, and I will say this is this. I am the person talking about that. Then the light of the consciousness should fall upon it to justify. Yes, I see the light. Sorting is done. But if the light is not there, perception will not happen. So all this talk, all this time, whatever we are talking about, it is the consciousness. So the vital factor is the consciousness. We eat through consciousness, we sleep to consciousness, we die to consciousness, we become depressed through consciousness, we become high and excited in consciousness, but we do not know it is consciousness playing all this role. So, what is Vedanta? To acknowledge that and live in that consciousness. Actually, we're living in consciousness. All experiences from morning till now, every split second, all the experiences because of the consciousness. But I never know. Consciousness being the effect of consciousness, my all perception of sadness, joy, anger, frustration, whatever experience is coming, experience after experience. But we do not know. That's why Patanjali, the famous verse of the Panchadoshi, they say that Maso Abdo Kalo, Maso Abdo Juga, Maso Abdo Juga Abdo, I forgot no more, I'm not talking about that many months. Masabdu Juga Kalpeshu, Gatagammeshu Anekatha, Naudeti, Nostameti, Shambit Esa, Sayamprabha. Masha Abda Jugo Kalpeshu, Gatagammeshu Anekatha. Mas, month. How many times January passed in your life? How many times February passed? November, October, Maso, month and month went away. Juga, Mas, Abda means year. Huh? 1999 has gone, 2000, 2001, now 2022. It's going, so many years have passed. Mas of the Juga. Juga means 12 years called Juga. One Juga has gone. Or bigger calculation of Juga is there also. I'm just to understand a little bit of time. And 112 years of my life has passed. But that also gone. Juga Kalpo. Further, Kalpa means one creation period. The creation has come and all the creation has gone into void. Kalpeshu, Gatagammeshu. They come and go. They come, they go. Time comes, time goes. Month comes, month goes. Week comes, week goes. Year comes, year goes. 12 years of my life, how many times it happened? You are not that much, but I am. How many times? 6, 7, 8 times. Huh? After 8 times, I cannot say. Anyhow, so many long period have passed. Gata agamme, it is coming and going. Gata agamme anekata. Naudeti, but the consciousness in me, naudeti, it does not come up. Oh, now the sun has risen today, and the night it is gone. No, night time it is there, waking time is there, dream time it is there, and sleeping that time also there, again waking up that time there, years after years, days after days, month after month. I don't, it is continuous. Sambid Esha Swayamprabha. It is shining by its own light. It is like the sun, apparent example of the sun. Huh? Everything to light, self illumined entity. That is the consciousness. And that is all the time. And all my perception, I do not know. That's why bhaktas, the devotees, use this term very beautifully. Oh Lord, I didn't know that it is you in my heart all the time, doing everything. In a devotional language, you are doing everything. Huh? But consciousness is driving everything in our life. When you become sad, how can you be sad? Dead body cannot be sad. It cannot be happy. It cannot be angry. It cannot be sad, troubled. Anxiety will not be in the dead body. So, but to feel your anxiety, you need consciousness. If feel your joy, you need consciousness. Because all perception, and this is the final light, flashes on that. So this is the idea. If one can think, see, what do you need? God meditation and God realization. What God realization? Think this way every second. That is God realization. What is realization? Realization that that consciousness is permeated here, there, everywhere. And with that consciousness, my all experiences are happening. To the eyes, to the ear, to the nose, to the tongue, to the touch, every organ, every perception. All my whole life is nothing but consciousness, touch of consciousness. And when we can really penetrate by our meditation and analytical process and go and in the internal reality of ourselves, that consciousness and stabilize, we call it, he is a Brahmagyan. When he comes out of that, he sees Brahma, that consciousness everywhere, that consciousness here, that consciousness outside. So this is the consciousness study. It does not need much learning. It's a question of focusing on this truth every day. How we can be aware of that consciousness. It's a funny thing, huh? That being, I am talking because of that consciousness. Huh? My speech will not be there if the consciousness is not there. Your car is moving 60 mile or 80 mile, or whatever, or it is moving forward or going back, all remains on the energy, no? That consciousness of the car. Meaning, I am giving the example that your forward movement or backward movement of the car, we can see outside, but the supply energy is the same behind the car, whether it moves this direction or backward, front gear, back gear. Huh? So, good, bad, all these are happening in the level of consciousness only. So, this is a very great study way getting some inspiration from here. Now, how will you reach that point? It says 14 verse. Oh, actually, did we read the English translation? Understand through critical analysis that awareness, which is called sambid, to be the consciousness. Sambit means awareness. Awareness is the consciousness. Consciousness, Brahman, Satchidananda, that chit, consciousness. Chaitanya. Objects that you see there becomes revealed to you as I know. Object that is there, that you see there, become revealed to you as I know, within quote, due to the influence of that awareness. That awareness is here. Because of that awareness, You say, I know, I saw, I felt, I experienced. All expression are because of that I consciousness. Therefore, that awareness should be recognized truly as your own self. What is you then? Don't think you are the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect, because those are jada, matter. Consciousness is that gives validity of all these things. If the consciousness is not there, there is no experience. Therefore, what we have to do? 14th verse. Sarvam nirasya drishyatvat, sarvam nirasya drishyatvat, anatmatvat jaratata, anatmatvat jaratata, tam avachinnamatmanam, tam avacchinnam atmanam, viddhi susuksmaya dhiya, viddhi susuksmaya dhiya. Now, what you to do? I don't see God anywhere. I don't understand awareness. I mean, intellectually talking. No, it makes sense. Logically, it makes sense. That much we can accept. But I have no perception. I don't feel. I feel this table is stable. It is limited. Because of the table, the light is coming. I am seeing. A simple formula. I don't go much deeper. Here he says, Sarvang nirasya. Now you have to eliminate everything, everything which is external. Sarvang nirasya. Why? Drishyatva. It is an object. I am seeing means it is a drishya, an object of vision. It is never the object, it is the subject. So drishyatvat. And what? This is jaratvat. This is not consciousness, it is jara, matter. First you start, Ramakrishna taught us that we want to, the man is climbing the steps and saying, this is not the roof, this is not the roof, this is not the roof. This is the path of Vedanta. Not this, not this, not this. And then you reach the roof. See the consciousness only. And then come down. You see everything is made of the same stone and brick as the building is made of. So here also, when you go back, say not this, because you will get stuck here. If you say this is Brahman, then everyone says, this is my, I like this thing. You like because it is that much you think that is the real. But that's not real. Anything you see in the material world cannot be real. Why? Today it is there, tomorrow it is not there. Today it is one shape, tomorrow another. You bring a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Flower is very shining and very beautiful, colorful, and fresh. How wow, wow, wow. And keep it 2 days, then what happens? It is no more. So its beauty is transitory, that because it is jada, matter. Matter is subject to creation, existence, and destruction. So jadatvat, because it is jada, because it is drishya. Always Vedanta analysis, keep this in your mind. When you want to do the Vedantic analysis, you tell your mind, drishyatvat. Because it is the Atman, you cannot see. Who will see whom? When you see something that is separate from him, because it is separate from me, that's an object. I see it, I hear about it, I hear from that sound outside. So, drishyatvat, one point, jaratvat, second point. Drishyatvat, anatmatvat, anatma. Anatma means
Not me.
it is not Atman. It is not continuously conscious. Everything it is in insensate. We call insensate. No, this wood is insensate. It cannot move. It cannot do anything. Even if people are moving, that is also insensate in a final level, because it becomes, when it becomes dead, it does not move anymore. So three argument we have to keep in our brain every day. One, Drishyatvat, Anything you see, hear, taste, touch, that is not the consciousness. Drishyatvat. Then anatmatvat, it is non-sentient. It is not sentient. And third is jada, it is matter. So because of anything you see whole day, you can put in the dissection table and put these three arguments. Does it corroborate? That is a drishya, object to see. It is an object or subject. I am my subject. I am the Atman. Consciousness is here. First I am here, then I see you. Is it not? First you are awake, that you see the world. When you are sleeping, you don't see the world. So first consciousness is here, and then the world exists. I exist, that's the world exists. The sun exists. Swamiji said in one place, the sun exists because of my two tiny eyes. I exist. First I exist, then sun exists. The world exists because I exist. And what is that I? Of course, that is the point, not the limited, the frame of body and mind, but that is the consciousness. Because of that I, the whole world exists. So, Drishyatvat, Anatmatvat, Jaratvat, these are very three cardinal points of analysis. Huh? Huh? Vidyatva, no. It is one is Anatmatvat, Anatma, Drishya, and Jara.
Not Mithya.
No, Mithya or Jara means it will fall in that category. Anatma means see, Mithya. His Atma is there, that is unchanging, it will be all the time. Anatma will be Mithya, which is not Atman, that is not that is appearing now this way, it will appear another way. Tam avacchinnam atmanam vitti. Now you understand that what is my Atman, where? It is avacchinnam, it has been limited by this body mind. Suppose the space is here, no? You bring a pitcher or a glass. We say the glass space of the glass. There is no such space of the glass. It is the same space. I am making it limited. It's not limit. Our chinnam is limiting. It is limiting the infinite space into two divisions. This is called the glass, occupied by the glass and not occupied by the glass. See, this is the space. This entire space was open before the walls were raised. When the walls has raised, we say it is a temple space. It is a shrine space. Eh? It's a space taken by this, what do you call?
Inside space, outside space.
It is the space taken by this pew, or taken by this table, or taken by this musical instrument, like that. But it is only space. Similarly, tam avachinna atman, is this atman, this what is called the limited atman, this is not the limited. The unlimited is the behind. You make a separation from the limit, unlimited, you are making a false division into it. There is no real division. Ah. A better example also is to understand this. Just suppose you think you take a bowl or a pitcher made of clay, porous clay, and you put it into the ocean. The ocean water divides into two. One is the pitcher, water in the pitcher inside, and water pitcher outside. The outside and inside, is the space divided that way? Pitcher? Water is divided? No. Water has percolated into the thickness of the pitcher also. And inside also, outside also. So if you see, consciousness is here, this is the body, it permeates the body itself and expands everywhere. That is the total consciousness, absolute consciousness. So, avacchinnam atmanam viddhi, you understand that Atma is avachinna, has been limited by this jar, this the body jar. This jar looks like that, your jar looks like that, everyone having one jar, different designed by the cosmic designer. But the thing is that it is the consciousness here. So, Biddhi, you have to understand this. Sur Suksmaya Dhiya. By your dhi, mani buddhi, very fine intellect, not by the gross intellect which people look in the world and only money and all this money outside objects. No, it needs a sharpened mind, pure mind, pure mind which will be by developed by practice, by prayer, by meditation, purifying the mind. That fine mind will give this clarity of this. Gross mind, worldly mind, they will not at all grab it at all, and it will not penetrate in their heart at all. They will think that is a wastage of time. By 1 hour time, you are wasting in talking about these are consciousness, pot, jar, and table, cues, pews. What are you talking about? Huh? So, because it needs a sharp intellect, not the sharp intellect. There may be maybe very intelligent people in the world. We are not talking about script, talking of them. Their mind, they may be very expert in the material science, but spiritual science, you need a very finer mind, purer mind. It's a pure mind. It's better to say sukshma here means pure mind. Pure mind and impure mind. Impure mind is like a fly, and pure mind is like a bee. Right? What fly does? It sits in the honey, and it sits also in the filth. That's the impure mind. And pure mind, be only whatever. He will be hungry, but only he will suck the honey from the flowers. So, sucking the sweetness of God, that type of mind will have a new eye to penetrate the external and enter into that consciousness. Whatever in the world, there is nothing but the expression of consciousness. So that should be. So this 14th verse, with the help of your extremely subtle intellect, after expelling every single thing because of their quality of being an object, their non-self nature, and their inertness, know that self, know that self capital, which is separated from everything else. This body is saying, I am separate from everyone. Know that self, which is uninterrupted, is not limited by time, space, or position. Know that self as consciousness. If everyone from morning till night, as many times we remember that it is the consciousness which is giving me perception, every perception, every feeling, every emotions. It is consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. If one can do that, then he will be established in that knowledge of continuous awareness of the divine. So, 14, another. Shall I read another?
Yeah.
Ya Shambit Swaivahi Satma. Ya Shambit Swaivahi Swatma. Chaitannam Brahmanishchinu. Chaitannam Brahmanishchinu. Twang Padassa Chalakshantaj. Twang Padassa Chalakshantaj. Jatavyam Guru Vakyataha. Jatavyam Guru Vakyataha. Ja Sambit. I am talking so long about Sambit. We are talking Sambit means awareness. We are talking about the awareness. Whatever is our awareness, it is this consciousness itself. We have heard that. Here, that is clarifying that idea again. Ya Sambit, that which is consciousness or awareness, but that Shambit, Swayavoso Atma, that is your Swa Atma, your own Atma, your own self, own capital self. This is the small self, changeable self. This self changes, no? Every day, every moment. whether you like it or dislike it. You cannot hold anything. It is a changing, changing, changing thing. We may think it is not changing. I am the same. Only when people get into fight, you have changed so much. What a nonsense talk. You change means every moment everyone is changing. What is not changed? Your yesterday's maturity, today's maturity, same. Your yesterday's body is today's body. They say everything has changed. And you have changed so much. A change in the nature in the world. But what does not change? God, the consciousness, the absolute awareness of the divine. No? So that does not change. So here it is said, Yashambit, that which is called the awareness, Saeva Hisha Atma, that is verily your own big self, capital self, Swatma. And that is Chaitanya, that is consciousness, that is Brahma, that is the Brahman, the absolute. Distinction there. In the ocean, can you distinguish that this water versus that water? It is one homogeneous water. So that is the cosmic consciousness. It is the same cosmic consciousness. Brahma means cosmic consciousness. No, if you try to understand the consciousness in the pot and consciousness outside, the space in the pot and space outside, you may make a distinction. But in space, there is no distinction. In consciousness, there is no division. Division is in your mind. But in reality, cosmic consciousness and individual consciousness, there is no division. Tattam padasya laksham. And you have to understand, this Brahman is the indicator of when it says Tattvamasi. That's the great Vedic dictum, that thou art that. Thou, this small thou, this person, limited by this body and mind and etc., that the God, Lord who created. How can this small be that? Here it is called you spill up what is really you. Not the body, not the mind, not the intellect. Go on peeling up, peeling up, peeling up. Whose topic that day I saw? Peeling up the onion. Who gave that topic? Somewhere. So, anyhow, so peel up what I am, what I am, what I am. Peel up. And then I, the consciousness will remain. All other covering is to be taken away. Say, Tvam padasya chalaksham. And you say God, God sitting in the heaven. Who is God? God is creator. Peel up that responsibility of creation. Peel up. He is kind. Peel up that. All these qualities of which he adore and which he given to God, peel up that. What will remain? Consciousness. So this consciousness and that consciousness, they are one. That is called the Mahavakya Vichara, the analysis of the great dictum. I am that. Thou art that. You think you are a body mind person? No, you, the consciousness in you, is the same consciousness in the cosmos. It's one, only one consciousness. You have divided the consciousness into two by your wrong understanding, by a clouded mind. But when your mind will be purified, analyzing this way, I am not the body, not the mind, not the God is also not the ruler, not the creator, not the sustainer, nothing. It is the consciousness only. So cosmic consciousness, the ocean, and the consciousness in the one drop, the same. H2O, same H2. So, Tvam padasya laksham tad jnatam. How will you know this? You can read books, it will not happen. You have to go jnatam. You have to understand that Tvam padasya laksham. You, indicated by you, when I say you, indicated, my indicative word you is the target, is that same Brahman. You have to know tas jnatabam, you have to know that. How? Guru Vakkata. You should go to a teacher, not seeing their YouTube. You can get inspiration. But for your spiritual life, you will have to go to a guru. Because it is not the words, but it is the energy. It is the experience what they have done, they can transmit to us. At least we may understand or not, but they do it. Some fortunate people are there, they can understand immediately. But misfortunate people, we may not understand whole life. But that is the Guru Vakata. That means Guru, who is Guru? Who has analyzed this again and again and again and again, and it intellectually convinced and internally more flashes of light of the cosmic consciousness they can feel inside. That means ideal teacher will be who have realized it. But those who have done again and again and again, they stand in conviction. Ah, we have seen some Swamis. One Swami in the Belur Math, he was there. He used to live in this consciousness day and night. Ah, but he apparently will not understand anything if you watch him, unless you go very close and ask him some questions and then conviction. Sat Prakashananda Swami. Sat Prakashananda, not the Saint Louis Swami. There was one Vedantic Swami, Sat Prakashananda. I met him when he was almost in his health condition, dying condition. Baba, what a fire! When he said that if one does not do this Tat Tamasi Vichar every day, he is a fallen sadhu. Day and night to think, I am that, Tat Tamasi. Analyze this, peel up all these coverings. So there are people who have experienced. If we hear from them, conviction comes into our mind. They can transmit some conviction in us. So it is to be followed like that. And next day we read Ghatakaso Mahakaso. A very simple formula to make it understand. This Mahakaso is the great space, and Ghatakaso is the space of a pot. Pot space and infinite space. There is no distinction. It is the same space. You divide with a pot, imaginary pot. Break it, space is gone. So this apparent division, what is been created by the mind, can be dissolved by it only through the light of consciousness. Understanding about that, talking about that. So 15 verse says, ascertain that. What you will ascertain? That which is awareness. That which is awareness is verily your own self. And that is the consciousness and is called Brahman. It is also the implied meaning of the word you, thou art that. This is to be known from the teachings of the Guru or by Guru's presence. So, here we end. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Panamastu. Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow Swami Vedananda's gospel class. So tomorrow Swami Vedananda will give the gospel class. And here is one question. Do because have their basis or origin in consciousness? You know, consciousness is consciousness. But when consciousness is covered with ignorance, all vikalpa comes. That means, in that sense, you can say everything comes out of Brahman. The whole creation has come out of Brahman. But Brahman, does it create anything? No. So all these changes, what you see, is it Brahman is doing? Brahman does not do. That's why in the Shakta philosophy, they bring the idea of Shakti. Otherwise, you cannot explain this visible universe. Oh, you are seeing this? Oh, it is Shakti. It is Mother. Brahman, Mother is separate from Brahman. Ramakrishna said, whom you call as Brahman, I call him my mother. Brahman and Shakti are same, one and same. So, If you say everything has come out, yes, there is no other source but Brahman. But this Brahman seen as the Vikara or Vikalpa, that is because we are in ignorance, and through our sense of ignorance, we are seeing the same Brahman. Through the lens of ignorance, we see this whole world. So when the mind is there, impure mind, naturally that shows us. So it is, you can say in one sense Brahman, then you have to say Brahman is the source of everything. But in reality, you cannot say that Brahman is not active. Brahman active we call mother, we call Shakti. Okay, another question. Why are scriptures so mystical that they require so much commentary? I mean, why were not they written straightforward like a user manual? We will not understand that. If you say why the big scientists don't make it easy, all his research material easy for us. Suppose technically you go to any scientist, their mathematical deduction. If we ask why they have done this mathematical deduction so complicated, could he not do easy for us? No, we cannot say that because this subject is so complicated and our doubtful mind is so much questioning. Therefore, commentary is necessary to understand what is the real meaning. Every word has a meaning, and we always misunderstand through our level of mental condition. Through that, because we see through that. Therefore, we need the help of the commentators like Sankara. They can guide us if, in point where our mind will not be able to catch it. My mind will take another direction, but you say, no, 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 that is not the interpretation. Meaning is this. So, because it is a subtle subject, so he needs some guidance from them. And straightforward, they tried. That's why you want to understand straightforward user manual, you read Gospel of Ramakrishna. You want much easier manual, see the whole Gospel of Holy Mother Saroda Devi. She does not speak in any high language. He said, uh, um, uh, কি দুলে বাগদির মধ্যেও যিনি আছেন আর আরেকটা কি he that same reality is in the outcast one person to the highest person in the knowledge. Mother said, don't oh, who is in me, she is also same in the outcast, low caste, ordinary people, no? A person of highest intelligence to the lowest one, the same consciousness is there. Ramakrishna speaking like that, and their behavior is that. So read those, these are the straightforward user manual, as you have used the word. But that's why it is said, no? I have quoted it many times, maybe. The one great scholar, one sadhu, probably, newly joined, or one Pandit has come to question about Brahman, Atman, probably. So he came to Swami Shivananda, Ramakrishna's disciple. And Ramakrishna's disciple, his name is Tarak. So Tarak Maharaj, that's Shivananda Maharaj. Not Rishikesh Shivananda Maharaj. It is Ramakrishna Mission Shivananda Maharaj.
Second president.
Second president. So what he says, the Pandit has come. He said that, and then Maharaj asked him the question, do you want to hear in one word your question, the response in one word? Come to me. And if you want to hear in so many ways, go to this sadhu.
তত্ত্বজ্ঞান আর বিচার জ্ঞান।
Yes. So that's the important point. Who wants to understand, unless the mind is simple, mind will not accept this philosophy. One word. How much is needed? Thou art that. Guru will say, you are not the body, mind, and God is also cover God with other qualities. God is quality, name, quality, and other things. You also beyond name, everything, the consciousness here and there. But it should be instant. Your mind is simple. Ramakrishna was told who told? Totapuri. And within a short period, boom, he got it. And-
Mother is telling Nirvashana hole ekhoni হয়, if
Ah.
you don't have any desire, you are free.
Right. When your mind will be so pure, that purity is necessary.
The
So-
person who is questioning, if he does not or she does not get all these three discussions, will she or
And
she
for us, we need little intellectual conviction because we live in the level of mind and intellect. No, convincing understanding is necessary. Mind will, otherwise hallucination will happen. Something wrong idea, wrong thing will carry. That's right. Yes, you are asking some question.
Um, how does love become a tool to
Hmm?
understand these things?
How
How does love become a tool to understand
become a
these
tool?
things?
Tool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how does it play into it?
That's right. See, love means what? Define love. Love means what? Two things are there, become close. Human love. One loves the other. They come close. You hate. I will not see your face. You will not see my face. So love is uniting. So if you love God, that unites you, then other factors will go away. Love between you and your lover. That will remove all the clouds of doubts and other things. Understand? Love is the best thing if one can really genuinely love. All distinctions go away. You don't see any fault. When you love some boy or a girl, you don't see the fault of the girl, or the girl does not see the fault in you. You are a perfect man, she is a perfect her. And then what happens? When you real genuine love, that is the point. When you come down from that level and just judge a person as a person, hey, you did that, you did that, and you did that, and she did that. Huh? But when love generates, you don't consider any defect in anyone. So when you grow in love for God, it drops off all this rubbish, and genuine love unites with God. And when you unite, I unite with my consciousness. God is, I am saying God word. It is the same as consciousness. Satchidananda. Now here is a question. The sin one commits helplessly and involuntarily due to presence of strong tendencies in the mind, over which he has no control. To what extent does he accrue papa or sin for such actions? Helplessly and involuntarily. eh, Holy Mother, we have to go to get rescue from this problem. Holy Mother said, the sin of your mind is no sin. In this iron age, if you commit something in your mind, unconsciously or consciously, that is no sin. But point is that helplessly you are doing. If it is it is the intention is the question, no? If mostly its impact will be less. If we willfully do, intention is there, and that creates bondage more. But with helplessly, unconsciously, inadvertently, something happens, its impact is less. That I can say. I cannot say it is sin, no sin or sin. God will understand that. But from our perspective, I will say if it is done unconsciously, the impact in your mind will not be that strong. And you can
I
easily
don't
brush
think
out.
even if you do unconsciously, the impact will be like the whole Ramayana. Dasharatha did it unconsciously to kill the.
That is for the pure soul. In the which age that Sattva Treta you was much pure. Only 25% evil has entered into the society. And now Kali Yuga, 75% evil has entered into the society. God is gracious. God gives compassion. when suppose you go to a very competing students, everyone is a high grade student, no? Say you go to the Harvard, you get a degree from Harvard, and you can go to some school in Korea, huh? and get is unrecognized. Anyhow, they got a recognition. That's good. This category of the student will be, he may say, I also got my graduate degree. He will say, I also got my graduate degree. But there will be difference in that depth. So, anyhow, I think that we can, and if anything happens like that, we can say, oh Lord, it has happened. I will not do it again. That's all.
How can we say God is compassionate, but also we should peel off the qualities of God?
That is one step. When you are praying to God, it's your dualistic practice. And I am talking about non-dualistic practice. There is no God. Vedanta does not believe in God. Vedanta does not believe in God. God is also your imagination, in a higher imagination. Lower imagination, higher imagination. God is sitting somewhere. He is kind, He is compassionate. Who knows? He is compassionate. You are imposing some qualities in God, the absolute, unchanging. No? So when you disqualify yourself from this, God's all the other adjuncts, limiting adjuncts, they also drop off. It automatically happens. So then from that perspective. There is another question. What is scripture's advice to an aspirant to trump over such strong tendencies to which he has already accepted defeat? It is the Shastra says constant effort and analysis. Success depends on uh, constant practice, constant failure. See, here is a musician. Now, how many hours he has to practice? I don't practice anything, so my voice is this. You people practice for long hours, so your voice is different. Huh? So anything, you go to the what you call the acrobats. Huh? Oh my God! Did you see the TED show? And some are having acrobats. How they are doing? You cannot imagine. You will be frightened to think. We are all thinking, my he'll going to fall and break everything, neck and head and everything. But it's practice, practice, practice. So we'll get strength by regular practice, and success will come. Failure is where? Failure in your mind. When mind becomes stronger, you will succeed. Because of our past tendencies in the mind pulling me another direction. I am generating a new tendency which will pull, then it will. This is tug of war. Which direction? Our mind falls into the tug of war every day. Sometimes good tendencies pushing me, and sometimes other old tendencies are pulling that way. This is a struggle. But you strengthen yourself in positive direction. Automatically, that's why day and night if we think of consciousness, think of the divine within, pray to divine, all these practices what are given, that will make us win the other old tendencies which I don't want. I want to get out of it. So that will happen. Say it is common thing, Alcoholic Anonymous and others, what they are teaching. Practice, practice, practice. Don't mind, failure is failure. Start again, start it again. That is the point. So spiritual life should be like that. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Chairman.